You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Ian, look at this.
What, it's a police box. What on earth is he doing here? I mean, these things are usually on the street. Feel it. Feel it, you feel it?
Faint vibration.
It's alive.
Earth Station Who, a fun mashup celebrating nearly 50 years of the Doctor Who universe. Hold tight. You never know where the TARDIS is going next.
Blossom, yes, blossom. That's the only sad thing. I want to know what happens next. Right then. Doctor, whoever I'm about to be. Tag. You're it.
I know these teeth. What? What? What?
Hey there, listeners, and welcome to another episode of the Earth Station Who podcast. That's right, folks. We are back, and we've got a great one for you. We are going back to Big Finish, and we are doing Volume 7 of the Diary of River Song. So we got our favorite music back, folks. That's right.
God. It is not any better.
Nope, it hasn't aged with time. Not at all.
It started out bad, and
this is the seventh time, and yeah, it's not. I'm not used to it yet.
And we had 4 stories of it this time, folks. So it's going to be.
There's been 4 every time.
But some of the Big Finish stuff is some of them only do 3, like when we did Pod and Astra Gang and stuff like that. So it's always nice with River that we get more stories with her. But
we have to pay the price of listening to the theme more.
We do.
That's our sacrifice.
There's good news and bad news. We get more River, but more theme songs.
You want an extra story? Then you're going to pay.
Exactly. And so, you know what? It's going to be fun to talk with you guys about it. And, thank you everyone who joined with us for the live show. It was a ton of fun, and we got some great feedback. We got some, great comments from the, live audience and such. It's always nice to do and nice to see. And we'll be doing more live shows over the next couple months. And we always, like being with you guys, and so it's going to be a ton of fun. But, of course, let's see how Mike and Mary are doing. Hey guys, how are you tonight?
Hello.
Howdy.
You guys ready to talk some River tonight?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
We love River, or at least I do.
Oh, so do I. It's always fun, and Alex does such a great job. And, it's interesting because, we're still far behind on all of them. I think they have 11 of them now. So
yeah, 11. Can you imagine? It's like, I was thinking about that too. And it's like, she's recorded just for the diaries alone. She's recorded 44 stories.
Wow.
And you add the other things that she's done as well with Big Finish. She's probably done about 50 stories.
Oh yeah.
That's huge. Like that's a lot. That
is a lot.
I don't know if I would imagine some of the actors that have played doctors that are doing Big Finish have probably surpassed that. But for a quote unquote secondary character or spinoff show, I think that's got to be some sort of record.
Oh, I would think so. I definitely think so. Especially her being, like you said, a secondary character. She's not the doctor. And so, you know, and you've seen her now almost with all the doctors, which is pretty darn awesome.
And the thing that's even more remarkable to me is Alex Kingston is not like someone who's just sitting at home waiting, you know, with retired or whatever. She's actively doing movies, TV. I think she pops on stage occasionally too, and so she's really busy. And yet they're able to squeeze. I don't know when the first one is. I'd have to go back and look. But I mean, it seems like a relatively short amount of time. They've recorded a lot of content.
Oh yeah, very much so. Very, very much so. And, you know, it's nice to be able to see how much she cares for the character too. And
yeah. This one that we're reviewing was done right before the pandemic. So we haven't even gotten to like post-pandemic, you know, Alex Kingston's just sitting around going, please give me something to do recordings.
Very true. Very, very true. So it's pretty awesome. And, you know, we definitely would love to hear from you guys at home. Feedback at earthstationwho.com. You know, as always, please tell your friends and neighbors, you know, we're up with all the other big podcasts. Earth Station Who is right there with them. So please check it out. We definitely would appreciate it, as we always like to say. Also, of course, if you get a chance, check out our TeePublic store. We got some amazing Doctor Who t-shirts and such. It's really awesome to be able to, if this is only a video podcast, you'd be able to see I'm wearing the brand new Earth Station Who logo t-shirt tonight. And you know what? TeePublic is an amazing place, and you could just go right to the top of the Earth Station Who webpage, and there's a link right there to our TeePublic store, and you can get some Doctor Who stuff up there. You can get some other ESO Network stuff, and you know what? There's millions of t-shirts up there, thousands and thousands and thousands of designs. It's pretty awesome. You know what? Even TeePublic now is offering clothing for your pets. That's right. Your dog can help, you know, be wearing the Earth Station Who t-shirt on its back. It's pretty awesome. So, you know, you definitely could check that out. And they have pet bowls. They have all these really cool stuff up there. And you know what? TeePublic is definitely a great way to go for it. So it's pretty awesome with that. So definitely thank you for being here tonight. We have a little bit of Doctor Who news. Mr. Mike, what do we got going on in Doctor Who news right now?
Well, I mean, just looking around, I mean, of course, there's not anything, you know, specifically announced, but of course, Russell T did, carrying over our discussion from the live recording. I mean, Russell T made it clear and official that Doctor Who is entering its next stage, which means that there's going to be spin-offs, no information on what that looks like, what they could be, what kind of spin-offs, but I think we all knew that he was in favor of spinoffs, and it just made more sense now that he's with a streaming platform that can support that kind of thing. So, but again, nothing specific. But speaking of sort of Big Finish spinoffs, one of our favorite spinoffs is actually we're going to see more of, and that is the Paternoster Gang.
Yay!
Yeah, they are. We reviewed. Listened and reviewed and enjoyed quite a lot. Their first outing, which was called, I think, subtitled Heritage.
Correct.
And this one, this new one is labeled Trespassers. And the first volume of that, which I do believe will be 4 stories, is supposed to be online on October of this year. And it's supposed to be a total of 12 interlinked adventures.
Nice.
It will be the 3, Madame Vastra, played by Neve McIntosh, Jenny, Catherine Stewart, and Stax, Dan Starkey.
Awesome.
So yeah, I think you know, if I'm not mistaken, I think we praised this series higher than almost anything else we've reviewed from Big Finish, and so yeah, I can't wait to see what they've got cooked up for this gang, and you know. The theme song's pretty cool too.
It doesn't blast your ears out. It definitely doesn't.
Yeah, the music for Paternoster Gang is way better.
Oh, very much. Yeah. It's more whimsical, which is really awesome. And I'm looking forward to that because the chemistry between the 3 of them has always been great. from the very first time we saw them on screen to the very first Big Finish adventure. It's just been awesome all the way through.
Right. And it really comes across in audio. They do not lose anything by going from video to audio. They are just as much fun.
And they save on makeup doing it on Big Finish. So it's pretty awesome.
I'm sure Neve McIntosh is actually quite happy about that.
Oh, I'm sure. She doesn't have to get up at 4 a.m. to go sit in the chair to get, lizardized. So it's pretty cool.
Exactly.
So it's awesome.
Another series, which we reviewed, I think, the first one of this that came out, but I didn't realize that they had done a second one. But in order to celebrate International Women's Day in March, the 8th of March, of course, a few years ago, they released the 8th of March, Volume 1, and that featured a lot of female Doctor Who characters. And then they did the same thing. They did 8th of March 2 with Protectors of Time. That one had Lala Ward and Georgia Tennant involved, among many others. I believe Michelle Gomez was part of that as well. And next month we can look to see on Big Finish another the 8th of March 3, which is called Strange Chemistry. This one's going to have Louise Jameson playing Leela and Michelle Gomez playing Missy. And the Louise Jameson one is 4 parts. It's a story that I believe has her encountering Marie Curie. Or Marie Curie? Yeah.
Marie Curie, yeah.
Yeah, Marie.
Yes.
So that's going to be a historical. And then, we've got a one-parter with Missy with, I believe it involves a young Amelia Pond as well.
Yes.
I don't know
Nice.
if she's reprising her role either. Well, I know it's not Karen.
No, it's Caitlin Blackwood.
Oh, she is. Okay, cool.
Yeah. That's the one she's appearing in.
Awesome. So that's some pretty cool stuff right there.
Mhm.
I know we appreciated the 8th of March. I mean, we got a little bit of Pat and Aster Gang with the first volume, 8th of March. And I haven't listened to the second one, so I have no idea what the quality is on that one, but I would imagine it's pretty high as well. And this one it's got 2 of my favorite Doctor Who actresses in it, Louise Jameson and Michelle Gomez. So, I mean, I don't think that, right there, that's a win for me.
Yeah,
Sure.
wouldn't that have been amazing to see on the screen, Leela and Missy together?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we're lucky to get it on Big Finish.
Yeah, I know we talked about, I still haven't listened to the first Missy, because they've only done, I think, 1 Missy volume, if I'm not mistaken. And I have not listened to that.
Well, we might have to add it to our list, so it gives you a reason to purchase it. So there you go.
We've
I
got
think it'd be
lots
kind of cool.
plenty of slots to fill.
We so sure do it. We really, really do. And I know they also announced that they're releasing the 3rd season of John Pertwee on Blu-ray.
On Blu-ray? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, finally. Yeah.
But yep. And so looking at that, looks like it's going to be, stories of Day of the Daleks, The Curse of Paladon, the Sea Devils, the Mutants, and the Time Monster. All great stories.
Yeah.
And Roger Delgado is the master, which is awesome.
Yeah. I love Roger Delgado.
Yep. So they released the artwork for it, what the box and the discs are going to look like. It's going to be released in the UK and the US on March 20th of this year. So definitely look
my
forward.
understanding is the date is just a placeholder, so I wouldn't hold it fast to that. But yeah,
You never do. I've had,
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I've had the Blu-ray of the first Doctor ordered since, probably the middle of summer since they announced it, and they keep on pushing it back and pushing it back. And
Yeah, I think the date with the William Hartnell season 2 right now, Blu-ray is March 28th right now, but
they're not going to release those 2 that close together either. I doubt it.
probably not.
So to be determined, folks, as we always like to say here on the station,
Yeah.
which is really cool. All right, folks. I do have a little bit of other announcement. The 3 of us are actually going to be at Pensacon That's right, folks. We are going to be going down to Pensacola, Florida. That's right. The three amigos of Earth Station Who. That doesn't sound right. No. Three amigos of Earth. No, that didn't work. But we are going to be down in Pensacon from February 24th through the 26th. And we are able to tell you now, and their schedule's just like Dragon Con. It's all fluid until you're actually standing on the stage. But right now we are scheduled to be doing an Earth Station Who panel on the 25th of February. So, we'll get, as we have more information and things are more nailed down, we'll give you exact times. We will give you locations, and, you'll be able to meet us and, hang out with us maybe a little bit afterwards if you're there. So it's pretty cool. And we're going to have some other friends of the show, there at the con. So it'll be nice to see everybody, and we could all harass Mark Maddox, which is even better. So it's a good thing.
I'm sure
it's a
he'll
good thing.
appreciate it.
Oh, of course he does. He's an award-winning artist. He can handle us. So it's awesome. So definitely check it out, pensacon.com. And you definitely, it's going to be a great show. And if you're a Doctor Who fan, right now they have every living Doctor from the classic series except for Tom is going to be there. So, which is pretty awesome. And they have companions from each of the Doctors also with them, which is nice. And from the new series, they're going to have Chris Eccleston is going to be there. And so, of course, the lovely Donna Noble is going to be there too. Yay. So maybe we can get some 60th anniversary stuff from her. Yeah, right. Yeah, I know.
Like she's doesn't have to keep secrets all the time.
Don't ask her about it, because it kill her. Don't.
It'll make her head explode.
Exactly.
Exactly. Sorry, Miss Tate, can I ask you a question, please, about Doctor Who? What, Doctor? And then it'll just be right there on stage. Oh, it would make
just
headlines.
Like Scanners.
Of course. I know Barrowman's going to be there, and there's going to be a very good contingency of folks also who have guested on Doctor Who and everything. And also, if you're a fan of any of Kevin Smith's Clerks movies, a lot of folks are going to be there too. So,
Pensacon has a ton of guests. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I am very, very impressed with it. It's pretty amazing. So definitely check it out, pensacon.com, and we will be there too. Pretty awesome. All right, let's dive in now. You ready to talk about River Song Volume 7? And, this one came out in, like we said, it was released in 2020. And it was a very interesting series of stories. And it was mostly because they weren't dealing at all with any of Doctor Who, or the Doctor. It was mostly River as an investigator in these stories, which was really awesome to see. And, you had her as Melanie Malone. And it was some really interesting, different eras, each story was slightly different, and different, genres of mysteries too. Because you had some noir, you had some, you did get the Weeping Angels in the final story, but the others were all original characters and everything, which is kind of neat to see. What did you guys think?
Yeah, they listening to the behind the scenes stuff, that was active on their part to try to bring River down to earth and get to the Melody Malone, even though she's not Melody in 3 out of the 4 stories. She doesn't go by that anyway. She's still she's still the investigator. There are mysteries happening around her, and there are folks around her like dying like on every story. I think almost every single story, like the secondary person that she's with dies, which is sort of really weird. Yes, we're going into spoilers here, but I don't know. I appreciate the effort. I think some of them rang a little better to me than others. And the last one, Carnival of Angels, is probably one of the worst one I've ever heard.
Yeah, I could understand that. Wow.
I had the opposite reaction. I really liked this one.
I
mean,
actually,
I'm not saying Carnival of Angels was my favorite, but I liked it overall.
I liked a lot of them. I don't know if I loved them, but I liked them a lot. I liked the first two for sure. And I like parts of the Barrister to the Stars, and then Carnival of Angels. I was like, maybe it's because I'm more like noir is really my thing, and I'm really big fan of the Melody Malone stuff. But I couldn't get over. I'll tell you what, I couldn't get over the accent by the guy, like just the American accents that they were trying to do, and I was like, this is horrible. You guys, come on. This is I can't take it seriously with this guy doing this accent. Now, I don't know if I was Scandinavian, if I was listening to the first one, if I would be insulted. But it seemed to me that they were doing a little bit better job with that accent, but maybe it's because I'm not Scandinavian. But I certainly felt like in the last one, that voiceover and everything was just terrible.
Well, I think he was really over the top.
He was trying to do like a Humphrey Bogart type character.
Right.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that Humphrey Bogart didn't do a voice. He just spoke like Humphrey Bogart. They just need to get a person to speak normally rather than put on this stupid American New York accent.
But that's the thing.
Also, he's speaking to you from the dead without even really explaining how he's able to do that, which I found extremely annoying.
That's a noir thing too. That's a noir thing too. I mean, Sunset Boulevard does that.
I know a lot of movies do that. That doesn't mean I have to like it.
No. I didn't. I'm just saying that didn't bother me. But I mean, it did sort of. But wasn't it weird how like in the first story, she's teaming up with Carl. Carl dies. In the second story, she's kind of got a thing going with the rapport going with the doctor that's trying to take care of the patients or whatever, and she dies. And then in the Carnival of Angels, of course, the guy who's narrating it dies. Like it seems like all of them, like all these people are like dying around her, and I don't know. I just felt like that. I guess they wanted to raise the stakes, make sure that people were, but it just felt like the Colony of Strangers, when we find out that Carl's dead, there's no real like emotion with that. And that doesn't really mean a lot. And then with Abbey of Heretics, when that one woman gets it, I mean, River doesn't seem to take any sort of responsibility for it whatsoever, which I thought was weird.
She never does in most of her stories when somebody
True.
And everything. And it's interesting too, because I agree with you. She didn't show any sympathy for anyone passing away, anyone, no. So that person died, or they got hit by the angel.
I mean, it's very similar to the Doctor.
Yeah. Oh, very much so.
The Doctor's the same way. You don't see.
Well, exactly. And that's the interesting thing with it. But like with the Colony of Strangers, it was interesting because they were just being replaced by it was in the Invasion of the Body Snatchers type thing.
Yeah, like Pod People or whatever.
Oh, yeah, it was very Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
And they were just being replaced. They don't age; they just get replaced, and their old bodies are literally smashed apart by their follow up and everything. And it was interesting how River being there actually broke the cycle for them and made them start. And that's what happened with the mayor, that she was like, hey, you're giving us the opportunity now that there's more out there than just this little village that we're in, and it felt like some of those Scandinavian, mysteries that are on PBS sometimes, like with Canon Brava or something, and it's
Scandi Noir, I think they call it.
Scandi Noir,
yeah.
Scandi Noir.
Scandi Noir.
Yeah, I mean, or something like that.
And it's but it was interesting, and the sheriff had never solved a crime because there is no crime in this town, because it's just all the same people in the town. They don't have any impulses or anything to do anything out of the ordinary. And that's what was interesting about it. And
I like this one because it did really feel like one of those those Scandinavian noir type of
mixed with the
things.
mixed Invasion of the Body Snatchers, like it's
right,
like
mixed
a
with
mashup.
which is actually very Doctor Who to mash up something like that.
Oh,
Absolutely.
exactly. And that's what was awesome. I mean, I loved that the sheriff was trying to come on to River too. Can I kiss you? It was like,
Can I get,
and the way he did
no.
it was like in the flattest way possible. It's like,
River, may I kiss
zero
you?
chemistry here, dude. You know?
It's like, no, I'm married. Thank you. Not that
I
ever
did
stopped
find,
her.
true to form, I did find that Alex, whoever she was working with, whether it was Carl, the actor who did Carl in Calling Strangers, or the barrister to the stars, she's got chemistry with everybody. Like, I don't and in a lot of ways, Alex is sort of like River in the sense that she's got sort of this chemistry with whoever she works with.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very much so. She's very easy to work with, it sounds like. And she blends in very well with the different cast members.
Well,
and
she's just a very generous actor, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And so they really respond to her, and that, that's part of the fun.
Mm-hmm. And her character is so out there sometimes. It's just like, oh yes, and just like her sonic trowel was special magnifying glass. And it was just like,
yeah. Well, I know we haven't got to the second story yet, but about the trowel, I love in the second story where she brings that up and the nun goes, "Oh, great. Finally, we really need somebody to weed the herb garden."
I know. I love it.
I'm like, I can't picture River Song weeding a garden.
No.
No.
You will notice it never comes to that.
No. I was heartbroken in that story. They burnt the library with all those classics.
Oh, yeah. That actually was the saddest part of the whole
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Exactly. And it was interesting too. And none of these stories tied together. These were, each one was an individual story. It wasn't like it was interlocking or anything.
Right. Yeah, they were just standalone stories that were down to earth, so to speak, and not contingent on, like, as you said, Mike, other Doctor Who characters or anything like that. Carnival of Angels, that's when it kind of like derailed for me, because in addition to the guy's accent, I couldn't get behind what the angels were doing, and I don't know, at that point it just didn't make any sense to me what was going on with that one. Maybe I just tuned out, because unfortunately sometimes with audios I tune out. It's easier to tune out. Like when I listened to the first one, within 10 minutes I was asleep, and that wasn't any sort of mark on the episode, but it was just like, you just have this input in your ear, and it's just sort of like a lullaby sung by Alec Kingston.
But the angels, it didn't make sense with the angels and the Carnival of Freaks, and the whole thing with that was just kind of ridiculous. And then the ride to heaven and hell, it was just like,
well, It was just very, this to me was the weakest story also. It was very contrived. And I think the conceit was that for whatever reason, I can't remember why, the angel was trapped there, and so it needed the help of what's her name to bring it food, basically. And so they had come up with this carnival idea to hide the fact that they're feeding it, these people. But it was so contrived. There was just an easier way to do that.
Exactly. And the other thing with it, though, it was interesting at the very end of that story how, River let her partner or whatever, her assistant, take the shuttle with Carl and, to get off planet. And she was going to stay behind to watch the angels. Does that lead then into, the angels take Manhattan? They said
that they said in the behind the scenes stuff, they said that this was a prequel to Angels Take Manhattan.
That's what I thought.
Say it was connected.
Yeah, because it sounded like that's what they were going into.
Yeah, I didn't get any connection there, and I actually, and this is my bad because of my memory and everything, but I did not remember Luke at all from a previous adventure.
Oh, I did.
Oh, yeah, I
recognized
did too.
his voice right away. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him at all.
I think he was like 2 seasons ago. It wasn't in the last one.
Yeah, it wasn't the last one.
I think it was the ones with the Master. I think he was a part of.
Okay. To be honest with you, I mean, we've done 7 of these now, and that's a lot of episodes, and I get, my memory is, I haven't re-listened to any of them, so my memory on them is kind of weak at times. There's certain ones I remember, and it's weird because I've heard Alex over and over again, and actually I've even, the 2 times I got the chance to talk to her in person, she said it both times that she loves doing these because she thinks the writing is so strong. And I gotta say, I'm like, I don't know if we're reading the same material, Alex, or I just because they're okay, but it always seems like kind of just like, maybe I'm hoping for better. I don't know.
I find them very uneven. Like overall, I really enjoyed this box set, but there's always at least one, like in this one, it's Carnival of Angels, obviously, that just really is not great. But it's like that, like the quality of the Pattern Ostergang ones, I feel like is much higher.
Oh, very much so.
With nothing against Alex Kingston, who
it's nothing to do with it. No,
in everything. She is not the problem.
No, not at all.
But we've said when we've done past reviews of the Diary of River Songs that, and even when Julie was with us doing it, we even said that a lot of the River Songs tales are very uneven, and it's like almost like a very hilly road sometimes when we're listening to these. And it's it would be nice to have more consistency. I think the last one was,
I thought maybe the last one was, did we not hate it, but wasn't it terrible?
We didn't like it because it was the one where she was going into a lot of like the first 3 Doctors' adventures.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And then
it wasn't great.
And they had
I actually think the ones without the Doctors are often better.
Yes.
Than the ones with the Doctors, because they tend to just shoehorn the Doctor in for no reason.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she mentions him a few times here, but it's not anything that's like, well, in one of them she says that he sent her there, right? Like, so yeah. I think that's Colony of Strangers, I think.
Right. Yes, it was.
But and that's cool. I don't mind that kind of mention, but when they're so like the previous set was so dependent on Doctor Who stories, and I think the weight of that just the volume just couldn't hold up to that, where I'm glad they went in the complete reverse direction in this one. Mm-hmm. And so I like I think the Abbey of the Heretics was my favorite.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, I think so. I like the historical, I like the time period it takes place. I like sort of the fact that she was after the book and it had to do with like books and knowledge and everything. And I kind of liked how that one played out. I didn't like the fact that, when the one nun died, I was like really taken aback by how dismissive River was, in fact, blaming the other woman when it was a case where like she was supposed to protect her. And she's like, I'll make sure nothing happens to you. And something is happening to her right there in front of her, and she can't do anything to stop it.
That happens to the Doctor all the time. The Doctor is constantly promising, "I'll save you," and then you die.
Yeah. Well, it happens in a lot of these. I love the Agatha Christie stories too, and people go up to Poirot and they're like, I've got threats on my life. Can you protect me? He's like, okay, I'll he's hired to protect him, and the next night he's dead. Like, so he has to investigate the murder instead of, he's not a very good protector, but he's a really damn good investigator, right?
He's not much of a bodyguard.
And in Carnival of Angels, the guy comes to her and like hires wants to hire her because he saw his own death. He wants to avoid that. And when that plays out, she's like, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. I figured that was going to play out that way. And I'm like, wow, that is cold. That the River Song can be pretty cold at times.
Well,
I almost expected the barrister to get killed in typical
if he's the only, he should consider himself lucky because he's the only quote unquote companion that she has in these that doesn't get killed.
No,
Luke doesn't get killed.
Luke doesn't get killed.
No, but I mean,
either.
but the client does.
Yeah, but the client's not a companion. But yeah,
no. But I mean, well, he's with her more than Luke is in the story.
I still would call him a companion.
So, I mean, Luke's kind of there, but she's working with him to solve the mystery.
I mean, it also rang false that he dies because he runs away. Mm-hmm. And it didn't make any sense within the story for him to run away.
Yeah, right. He ran away from River, who was supposed to be there to protect him. And then, he runs into the angel. And it's like, and the angel's stalking him then. And, and then it didn't make sense that, out of nowhere, when he got sent back, a crowd of thugs was there, and they all attacked him. And that was weird.
That was random.
They just happened to be there when he appeared.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
They just randomly beat him up and kill him.
Yep, exactly. For no reason. And they didn't, it's like that was more weak than almost anything else in that story.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole thing was just, the whole thing was just so contrived.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, they kept trying to think up reasons for something to happen, and they were always stupid reasons, that didn't fit within the story. But the premise was flimsy in the first place.
Exactly. I mean, I like the initial idea that a guy sees his own death and goes to River, and but then the rest of it from there just doesn't add up to anything. And I kind of felt Barrister to the Stars, I thought the mystery element was pretty weak, but I did like the chemistry between the two of them and the courtroom procedural that was going on. I did like the way that was playing out, but the whole reason for, the guy's death and murder, all that stuff I thought was just kind of flimsy as well.
Mm-hmm.
You really
because he liked
Barrister
poetry.
To the Stars.
He read poetry, so they killed him.
Yeah, I'm not saying it wasn't silly, but it's very silly in a very Doctor Who way.
Of course.
Me. And the guy playing the barrister was actually pretty funny.
No, I liked the chemistry that they had together. I mean, they were fine. They were great together. And they, they could have been reading the phone book, and I would have enjoyed it. But it probably would have had a better plot than this one. But they had good chemistry, and that's what held that together. I was almost of the idea even that if the barrister had been played by somebody, even I'd hate to, rag on the actor that played him, but if it had been somebody more substantial as far as actor wise or whatever, I think it could have been really special. But as it was, it was good, but I don't know if I'd put it way up there.
You wouldn't put it in the great category. I don't think there were any of these stories that were great for me. I enjoyed them. They were all entertaining. Some were weaker, like the Angel story was just that's how they ended it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised they put that one at the end.
Yep.
Because it's the weakest story.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they felt that was the actual Melody Malone story, and it had the Angels. So, I mean, that was the bigger story.
That was the draw for some people. They put it
there because it's the prequel to Angels Take Manhattan, but it just doesn't stand on its own.
I mean, they do have angels on the cover. So I mean, that's the selling point, right? Hey, the angels are in this.
And they have her dressed as Melanie Malone too on the cover.
Right.
So,
which she is. Yeah. So they take it from the last one for sure. So that's the selling point. Yeah.
Exactly. And so, overall, I probably would rate this probably a solid 3 out of 5. For me. It was fun to listen to. It wasn't a chore to listen to, but there were just some that were just like eye rolls, and there were others that were like, okay, this is good. I like this.
It's it's just one of those things. I mean, I love Alex Kingston, as everybody knows, and I love the character of River Song. I'm a big fan of the character as well, and the fact that she's done, over 50 of these on Big Finish, and 44 of them have been diary entries of this series. I mean, we're a little over halfway there, so we haven't reviewed all of them. But when I look at them, I'm like, man, if this was a series, I mean, I would be really just overall like disappointed, because the episodes are kind of like not as, I don't think they really live up to the potential of the character.
Agreed. No, I can't disagree with you on that.
I mean, I agree with you there. And then sometimes it's just irritating, because they'll almost take a dig, or not almost, they take a dig at her and her relationship with the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
It's like really putting it in your face that, well, she cares so much more for them than the doctor cares for her. And I'm like, that doesn't even make sense for River's character, because River's just not somebody who would, sit back and let somebody else walk all over her. So I find it hard to believe. And I think it's established and canon, in the last episode we got with her and
Capaldi.
That Stephen Moffat wrote. Yeah, with her and Capaldi, that, there's definitely something real there.
Very much so.
You can decide what that is for yourself, but I don't see her as something lesser. Or as
not at all.
I think the first time she's introduced with Tennant, you feel like there's something there that's a lot. You don't know what it is, but it's there, right?
Yes.
Unfortunately, like, the actual wedding and where she's on the most is with Matt, and I don't know, for whatever reason, that relationship doesn't seem as strong as the other two.
Really?
I don't know why that is, but I see them as a couple, because they show them as a couple over and over again, but I don't feel it as strongly as I do with Peter and David.
Really?
Yeah, well, that almost makes sense. That almost makes sense in a way, because
because Matt could be her son. No, just kidding.
Yeah, well, no, it's because Matt's the kind of the beginning of the relationship. David's not really the beginning of the relationship, because it's not for her.
No,
right.
David's the end of the relationship.
Yeah,
literally.
Exactly.
That's a good way to put it. I hadn't thought of that, but that's a good way to put it as well. Plus, Matt's doctor, more than the others, is more asexual, if you will. Like, he just seems like a kid, rather than like, David and Peter.
Mm-hmm.
Like we talked about how similar he is to the second doctor, and there's not a lot of, you don't really feel like Patrick Troughton's doctor was doing a lot of hanky panky, like he just doesn't really work. It doesn't really compute. So I think Matt's of in that. I put him in that category.
He did hang out with Jamie quite a bit, though. So that's all I want to say. So interesting stuff, though. But you know what? I think River is a fascinating character, and I hope Alex decides to do her until she's 90. 'Cause I think she would be fantastic no matter what. I think it's just awesome, and that's the cool thing about it. What about you guys? What are your ratings for this 1 out of 5 TARDISes?
I think I'd probably give it about a 3.5. I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it overall. I'm not saying it's perfect, obviously, but it was entertaining. It was a fun listen. I'd probably recommend it. I might say skip the last one, but the rest of them were certainly enjoyable. Especially for me, Colony of Strangers and Barrister to the Stars are the ones that I enjoyed the most. But I like that. I like the Nun one too.
Cool. All right, Mr. Mike.
Yeah, I'll give it a 3. The first 3 stories were pretty good. As you said, Mike, I don't know if I can put them in the 4-star or great category. but they're solid for what they are. And then, it falls apart with Carnival of Angels. I mean, the plot and everything's a mess. And then you have that I get really annoyed when I hear British actors doing American accents on British programs. I'm like, I've seen British actors come over here and do English accents so well that I don't even know they're British or Australian. I'm fooled. But for some reason, when I watch British television, the actors are like, "Hey, I'm American." I'm like,
well, maybe they're
talking like this.
They're doing what they think the stereotype is of what a person in the UK wants to hear, rather than a realistic accent.
I mean,
which I think happens over here to people when people try to do British accents.
Oh God, yes.
Or Australian accents.
I think one of the things that they said in the behind the scenes that I kind of appreciated too is they said that, especially with Colony of Strangers, but I think it's true of the two of the others, Abbey of Heretics and Barristers to the Stars, where they're the stories are kind of these down to earth mysteries, and River is putting them, and so all the other actors are kind of grounded, and they're sort of they're dialed in at like 7 or 8, like sort of normal. And then River's still River, so she's dialed into 11. So she kind of stands out and adds energy.
No pun intended.
To this, yeah. But Carnival of Angels, on the other hand, they seem like everybody's on like 12. And it's like, no, I think I would have appreciated it more if everybody else was toned down, just like in the other stories. And then River was the only one that seemed like that would make her stand out even more, and I would be able to take the story more seriously because everybody wasn't a cartoon character.
Well, I wonder if that's because the writing was weaker and they're like desperately trying to do something with it.
Well, in the behind the scenes, they're talking about like how I think the one guy says like, when he was talking about the I can't remember the murdered guy's name, but the narrator or whatever, but the musician. And I know everything about him except his name. But it said that like, when they first heard the actor, they're like, oh yeah, he's, he delivered it in such a way. And it's like, oh, in this over the top way. And I'm like, that's not the way these film noir ones, like that's not the way that works. That's a parody. You're thinking of a parody of a noir, not an actual noir. So dial it down, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Nope. Exactly. So definitely would love to hear what you guys thought at home. Please, feedback@earthstationwho.com. Let us know what you guys thought about this. We definitely would love to, hear from you guys about it, because it's fun doing River Song, and we'll probably do at least one more before the new season of Doctor Who with the 60th anniversary coming up. So because we've got a few other Big Finish we want to also explore before this. So we'll definitely be coming back to River Song because she's in our hearts, as we love to say. So definitely would love to hear from you guys. All right. So that is going to wrap up this episode for tonight. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And you know what? I think next time, we're going back down to the Third Doctor era. We are going to be going to the Monster of Paladon, which is the Third Doctor and Sarah Jane, which would be a ton of fun and everything. That's Pertwee's last season. So it should be very interesting to see that one. And I think I've only seen that one once, and that was a long, long time ago. So it should be cool. On behalf of myself, thank you for joining us. Mary, thank you as always.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad we're still listening to the River Songs. I mean, I know they've been up and down, but overall I've enjoyed them.
Do you want to promote your stuff?
You can find me at maryogle.com or on Etsy at eVision Arts.
Awesome. And Mr. Mike, we've made it through another one, my friend.
We did, and as always, it's my pleasure.
Awesome to have you guys here, and you know what? We will see you all next time on Earth Station Who. Peace, and be well, everybody. Cheers.
You have been listening to Earth Station Who, a bi-weekly pop culture podcast dedicated to all things Doctor Who, featuring talent from across the universe. All topics on the show are the sole opinions of the individual and are used for entertainment value alone. You can subscribe to our podcast up on iTunes, Stitcher, or follow our blog at www.esopodcast.com. You can also follow us up on Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. If you enjoyed the show, please leave feedback up on iTunes.
What will you do when your child asks?
What were Saturday morning cartoons?
What were Saturday morning cartoons? What's wrong with you?
Or will you handle it the right way?
Sit down, baby girl. Let me introduce you to my friend Mark McCrae.
Join Dan Klink and I on the Best Saturdays of Our Lives podcast as we take a unique behind-the-scenes look at the history and dynamics of animation with plenty of laughs along the way.
The Best Saturdays of Our Lives podcast is a proud member of the ESO Network.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.